I know it's harder because you do have the 2 seconds instead of the 1 second with the D.Va now, but I still think it's possible to have the ability to eat those anti-nades because they're so important to just make sure that they don't happen.
Well, is it worth investing a 2-second cooldown in a bio-nade Kenobi, right? I think is the question that you're asking, right?
Yeah, and definitely, and I think, especially the way that it went on Control, I think you definitely now can probably say, like, okay, well, we are losing these fights because we're antied. We need to have this defense matrix ready for these anti-nades. Even though it's a little bit harder, I think it's really worth it at this point.
All right, so Side Effects is running a classic comp here on Volskaya. That crossfire on the sniper, and it's going to be working out for him to start things off as Fox is going to headshot onto Hootie, so that Coalescence is going to be pretty far behind. Maybe character changes in effect here because the whole point is to get to that Coalescence and get a little bit more energy and momentum on your side. So this is 6v5. Young and Beautiful, though, are coming back, though. Side Effects started with an opening pick, but now they're down 2 members. Young and Beautiful have an ample opportunity here on the objective to take it. Somehow, Side Effects bungled their numbers advantage. Young and Beautiful got a couple ticks, and now they're going to be going to point B.
And I think that was really good from Young Savage there, putting pressure on the Saab on the Ana, because then he wasn't able to heal Spox on the Hanzo, and Spox went down, was so very low. Good dive from the rest of Young and Beautiful to go onto the back line, and now they're going to come onto this next point. Not a lot of ultimates to their name, and Side Effects making some swaps to themselves, going back over to the GOATS composition, actually adding a Mei inside of it instead of a third support. Interesting decision.
Well, the Mei, offers a lot of disruption. The Blizzard, we know is a good ultimate, especially on Assault, but the wall can be so brutal as well. And Mei is just such a, can function as another off tank with the ability to stall and that cryo. But Saab going down is going to mean that Spox is going to have a much harder time staying alive, and so the Mei does get to 50%. That's basically all the Mei does while she is on that field. The self-destruct, not going to get much. Is this character change, while might be a good idea, in practice going to lose them this objective? It looks like it might.
And I really like the play here coming out from Young and Beautiful, the way that they've been targeting Saab on the Ana. As you can see, already 98%, already just got the Nano, and as we know, Nano is one of those ultimates that you can farm up very quickly, so Saab has not been playing the game that much in this last couple of fights.
Yeah, Spox is going down as well, so the best stall that Side Effects has is off the field. Boger has an Earth Shatter. He's going to need a miracle 6-man shatter, and we're not going to see that. Young and Beautiful still going to maintain their advantage on this fight. The sound barrier going to be what they need to counteract that anti-nade that did hit 4. Well, the anti-nade was good. Side Effects wasn't quite as good here on Volskaya. Round 1 complete. Young and Beautiful take it very quickly.
And boy, was that convincing there from the side of Young and Beautiful. 5 minutes and 37 seconds. That's almost basically winning from one point to the next, just maybe a minute behind what you would normally get if you get 2 snowballs. And they're doing such a good job of targeting Saab. Like I mentioned, Saab is one of the players who we highlighted coming in from Nepal. And if he's not able to get those anti-nades and not able to get that healing out or farm towards that Nano, it's very detrimental to the Side Effects' chance of winning. So I really like that Young and Beautiful has target selected Saab and are really just doing a good job of just targeting him down and making sure that he's not able to play the game.
Yeah, the other person who's not really been making any noise ever since Control is Spox's. So you take the 2 people who were performing the best, and now we're saying, hey, they're not performing that great right now, and that's part of the reason why you saw Young and Beautiful get 5 minutes and 37 seconds left in their time bank. Kenobi, I always say, when you go to that score screen and the timer goes up, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, but it also feels really bad for the enemy team, right? When you're playing, if you're playing ranked and you just see, oh, it's going up by 1 minute and 37 seconds. This is not good. This is not good for us. And
yep,
Side Effects here
inevitably locks in Symmetra as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, and then you're like, well, let's just play Bastion on defense and see what we can do or something like that. And Side Effects is going to be switching over to a triple. Okay, no, Cave. Unlucky, but they're not making me happy today with these caster curses. But Young and Beautiful on the defensive end, they're going to be running this Ashe Pharah, which has actually seen a lot more popularity recently because you have a lot of these long sightlines. Pharah, as we mentioned before, can do a lot of damage, long-range damage with those rockets as well. And then you have Flippy here on this Ashe, going to be trying to farm up with that Bob and trying to get some nice dynamite hits. Frost here is going to be on the Widowmaker, trying his best to get some shots and some pressure onto the Caffey.
Well, the thing about Frost was on day 1 here on Volskaya, Frost did pop off on this Widowmaker. We know it's possible, especially when there's an opening kill from a Boger, so there's no main tank on Young and Beautiful's side. The TNT is going to be burning Frost for a little bit longer. He's trying to make some, movement with those headshots. He's got to try to get a pick, but the rest of his team is going to do it for him. While the Widow isn't going to be the one that keeps getting the kills, the overall team play is going to cause Side Effects to grab this first point.
And that's the Bogar I really like to see because he's being so aggressive. You got those 2 opening frags, especially on the Krondop, and once Krondop goes down, there's not really anyone to dive onto the backline onto Frost, so Frosting puts so much pressure onto the backline, and now they're rewarded with the 7-minute time bank, and they might even possibly finish with more time than Young and Beautiful. This is classic Volskaya here, if I say so, Boop.
Well, Kenobi, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still got some game to play because they're walking in without any ultimates. They are very close to that EMP, which could be brutal for Young and Beautiful, but they got to get there first. So you can see side effects stall just a little bit longer, passively generate a couple of more of those ultimates. Kenobi, which one are we seeing first?
I think we're going to be seeing the EMP and then the Nano maybe onto Bogar so that they can pump out a lot of damage. There's the the sleep onto the backline, huge from Sab.
Oh, saw playing some amazing on adjustment. Then the Nano was out, and now the rest of side effects going to be taken down. Young and Beautiful. Sound barrier, though, not going to be enough to save Saab in the end. So side effects only with 5 members, and with the spawns, Young and Beautiful do have the opportunity to come back and contest on this point. These kills are not all happening at once, so they're going to be able to stall, but for how long is the question? Will they be able to take this back? Will side effect be able to get this last tick? Only time will tell us. Hootie's going to try to even things up a little bit with Frost. Every kill that Young and Beautiful gets during this fight is so much more valuable than any kill that side effects gets. They do need to get the team kill and wipe them out, as the EMP only gets 1 person. That is not what you want in that situation, as Young and Beautiful do benefit from those 2 CP spawns, those assault spawns. Come back and defend.
And that was kind of a disaster all around for side effects in terms of ultimate issues. You saw their Spox using that EMP just onto a single person when the fight was already lost. The Nano hitting the Lucio of the worst possible case scenario, and then the Lucio not able to save Sab with the sound barrier. Just a bunch of mistakes coming out from side effects, and all their ultimates weren't getting the value that they needed. They did get 2 ticks, however, but they're not going to finish with more time like Young and Beautiful, so I reeled it back just a little bit.
That's called getting ahead of yourself. Both side effects of you, Kenobi. Come on. And so Young and Beautiful now do have an enormous ultimate advantage, too. So they're going to be able to defend here for the next minute or 2 until side effects is able to break through the ultimates that Young and Beautiful do have. They are able to get the grab and the rally out on this push, but side effects must know that they're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and maybe the rally just a little bit too over-aggressive there. You probably could have saved that for the next fight, but it's just a guaranteed fight win if you use the grab and the rally at the same time. You did keep both your support ultimates, so that works out well. Side effects are going to be happy that they did take both of those ultimates, but as we know with Caffey, he can farm with this Graviton very, very quickly and get another one, especially with how aggressive they're playing into the spawn of side effects here.
100 energy as well, so tons of damage coming from this Zarya, and that's why the Zarya cannot die either, because, you know, I've always said that the pros get higher energy because they're better at hitting their shots. The opposing team, like as opposed to my games, right? My energy is not so high because everyone on the other side's missing. But in this situation, they're so accurate. They're making sure they're getting the value out of that energy. But if they die, they're going to have to take a couple more particle barriers, as it only gives you 40 energy per. So you really want to keep that Zarya alive and high energy, as the Transcendence is going to be coming out from side effects. You do have
Big Shatter.
The Earth Shatter coming from Young and Beautiful will be getting 2 members, but no kills. And this is a situation that we see a lot where the ultimates come out, but there aren't a lot of kills to show for it. Only 1 so far, and it's that self-destruct. Side effects going to be ahead right now, 6v5 against Young and Beautiful, who have lost their Zarya. The sound barrier is going to be there, so he's going to be switching to Reaper to make sure that he's able to get back onto this point. 2 ticks have already been taken, but side effects haven't made that much more progress on this 3rd one so far, as the rally going to be one of the last ultimates so far, as side effects is going to be able to use. Transcendence is going to be the last one, so this is the last resource that side effects has on this fight. It's Bogar going to come in with a triple kill, big hammer, and a big hammer down now from Young and Beautiful, as this is still not over, but side effects doesn't let that deter them, as they do get those kills indeed. Wrecking Ball is a desperation attempt. Side effects going to be finishing this out, but Young and Beautiful have more time in the time bank.
Almost double, basically, for Young and Beautiful, and while they did, I mean, that last fight was just an ultimate fight there. Unfortunately, the combo in the bigger bang with the self-destruct managed to work better for side effects than it did for Young and Beautiful, and when you already have that ult advantage, you have the Brigitte still on the point. Brigitte, one of those heroes where if you're on the point, very hard to dislodge them because of all the stuns they can get. The flail still does a lot of damage, even though they can't one-shot Tracer anymore, and you have the Inspire healing as well that went up in one of the previous patches. So if you're winning those fights, it's very difficult for you to dislodge that Brigitte, and side effects are rewarded with a 3-minute and 10-second time bank, but Young and Beautiful have at least, you know, 2.5 more minutes left. That's basically 3 or 4 fights, and that could be the difference maker.
Not quite double. I heard the math going on in your head, my friend.
That caster math.
I know, right? It's just so hard. These numbers, numbering is hard. But side effects.
Math was my worst subject. So.
Oh, I failed chemistry in high school. Part of it was the math. Yeah, it was. I actually in college failed a class called. I didn't fail. I got a D in it. Called Math for Secondary Educators, which was Algebra 2. I was 20 at the time. I'm not that bright. But side effects, you know, looking for more bright spots, just like me, right? I got to try to get bright. Side effects, though. Boger popped off there at the end. We haven't really seen that so far.
And it was interesting, he popped up on those Reinhardt too. We usually see him play this Winston, but there his Reinhardt looked pretty good. He was hitting some nice shatters, some nice fire strikes as well. Actually hit the fire strike that was able to get the combo with the self-destruct, or the shatter rather, that was able to combo with the self-destruct. So great play from him. Gonna be switching back over to the Winston for a more dive composition here, but gets very, very low to start.
Looking at Young Anna Beautiful's comp, we've got that Ashe who, you know, we've seen on these defenses before, but we haven't really seen a lot of impact from these Ashes. Grandop gonna impact Cave's face most likely with that tickle cannon. 2 kills already for Young Anna Beautiful. A good return kill coming from side effects, and the way that these spawns work, there's gonna be an opportunity for them here in just a second to have a numbers advantage on a push, as Young and Beautiful do have a long way to go before they're back on the objective.
And it looks like this is just going to have to be a reset here for side effects. Crandrop is going to get low good. He's going to be totally fine to get out. And yeah, it's going to have to be a full reset right now for the side effects. And Young and Beautiful, they are getting towards these ultimates that they need. Flippy getting towards that Bob, which can stall the point. Danny going to have that self-destruct as well. So, but on the other side, you have Sab, who can give this nano to Boger. And that's really what you need. And that was an interesting translocator from Spockets there.
Well, Young and Beautiful did lose a member in that fight, so side effects gonna have to use that nano onto Boger, but no heal because of that anti. So he's just gonna have the benefit of the extra damage and durability. No Primal Rage, 11 HP and a Dream is just gonna turn into a nightmare. He falls to the ground. Young and Beautiful still do have 2 ultimates, gonna have to keep that nano, but side effects having a bit of a harder time breaking through here than their first go around on Volskaya, and Young and Beautiful are still gonna maintain their presence on this objective.
And that was actually such a disaster that Boger got nailed there, but was antied at the same time, because then he was able to go, he went down and didn't have that healing, that extra 300 health that you need from that nano boost. And now they have a chance here with Flippy. They can maybe try and sustain on the point just a little bit longer.
The pulse bomb, every single time you see a Tracer throw it out, there's a little bit of hope, as one Tracer on the field is going to be going back to spawn. Young and Beautiful only have 5 members, but so do side effects. 1 less DPS, 1 less support. Now no supports for side effects, so Young and Beautiful do have an opportunity here, but side effects seem like they're going to be taking advantage of a small window of opportunity where they do have those numbers. Hack onto the Primal Raging Winston. It's going to be a lot harder for him to chase the Sombra around, but it is going to be Primal Rage off of the field. Young and Beautiful still haven't given up this point, Kenobi.
And Cafe's going to get back to try and stall just a little bit longer. I don't know how much time he's going to get off. Oh, that sleep was so close from Sab. He's going to just try. It's not going to be any much. It's just going to be a couple of seconds ticked off this last point.
Well, you know, sometimes crazy things happen. There are miracles in this game, but we're not going to see it this time. But side effects. Oh, Frost's going to be losing that ultimate, choosing to go onto the Zarya. We're going to be closer to a Goat's comp now. It's with side effects, but they are coming in with 4 ultimates, Kenobi. Is that going to be enough?
And I really like that choice, actually, from Frost to switch over. Pulse Bomb's not going to get that much value in this next fight. The best thing that you did is you kept Spox's EMP here. And Cafe has switched over to the Reaper, and Reaper against Winston, that's a matchup you don't want to see ever if you're Boger.
And this is new Reaper with the 50% lifesteal. The EMP only going to get 2. Grandop's going to be one of them, though, and that's sometimes all you need. As Young and Beautiful do lose a member early on in this fight, Side Effects has a ton of ultimates that they've already gone through. 2 left as a sound barrier going to keep Boger alive, but just barely. Thank you, Cave. Side Effects has a push still because of that sound barrier. Young and Beautiful trying to come back here, and looking at that Reaper ultimate charge, it doesn't look like he's being very effective, as he's actually not going to be able to get any benefit from that sound barrier. Now he's going to be asserting his dominance. The Side Effects is supposed to be ceding space
big
here.
Bomb.
But the big bomb is going to happen off camera. 2 kills now for Side Effects, but they still haven't pushed Young and Beautiful off of this objective completely, as Cafe will be coming back here very, very soon. Reaper can stall, and so can Wrecking Ball, Kenobi.
And that bomb for Methane was so clutch there, and unfortunately they are going to get a tick to the side of Side Effects. A big shatter comes out.
Yeah, the big shatter comes out. Cafe is super late too at this. And now The Reaper ultimate's going to be coming out. The Death Blossom not going to get any kills. Will be looking fancy. Round 3 complete. That could have been way worse for Young and Beautiful there, Kenobi.
It could have been an absolute disaster for them, but they're able to hold on just a little bit longer, and only 2 ticks taken for the side of side effects, so the win condition is set now for the side of Young and Beautiful. You just need to basically 68% to try and get this point. They have 5 minutes and 37 seconds, and with the way that they've been playing GOAT so far, 5 minutes and 37 seconds isn't really that is like pretty good time bank for them. They can definitely push it through, probably have some time to spare as well.
Well, they're starting with more than they originally would be allotted for this point A, so it's almost an expectation that they're going to be grabbing this one, Kenobi. It's all about how they're going to set themselves up for point B.
And I want to see from side effects maybe some like a pocket pick or something like that. Bring something interesting to the table, because so far it seems like Young and Beautiful has a read on whatever it is you're playing. It looks, if they bring out the Pharah, they're gonna have Huni on the Widow here. If they bring out something else, they seem to always know what side effects is going to be playing, and it looks like Frost is going to take the Widow 1v1 battle here. Spox is still trying to decide what he wants to do. I see the Mercy, so that tells me that it's either going to be Pharah or Hanzo, and there is the Hanzo right there. So this is good. They're going to play double sniper. This time I want to see Spock not get blown up immediately. They need to really keep him alive because he's really what is going to deter the dive here coming out from Young and Beautiful. If he's being damage boosted and hits that E onto Krondop is going to fall almost immediately.
It's like, yo bro, stop getting exploded. All right, man, that's not working out for us. Side effects, we're able to start with the pick on Spoxes with this Hanzo the last time they were on defense, but that was the only good thing that happened to them during that entire defensive phase. That's why you're seeing Young and Beautiful with such a high time bank right now. And remember, they're also on match point, so they're able to grab more than 67.6. They will be winning the series overall, but we will be moving on to that fourth map, as this is a four-map set. So the snipers are going to be setting up that crossfire for side effects. As of right now, Young and Beautiful are having a hard time breaking into this objective, and now Young and Beautiful are going to send Krondop into the backline with that particle barrier, so he's going to be pretty safe just for the time being, dropping the shield later on too to give him a little bit of an extra escape plan. Young and Beautiful, though, losing Flippy. Side effects, though, losing a couple members as well, including that D-Mech. Is that going to be enough for Young and Beautiful to decide to pull the trigger and commit to this fight? With this Dragon Strike, it might be a little while longer.
And I don't think they're going to be able to hold. They lost both of their healers as well, and there's the Coalescence to just confirm this point for the side of Young and Beautiful, and they're going to have a lot of time to go back into this next point. Actually, they're doing some good damage. Frost does get the pick on the Cafe, and Frost is just left alone up here, but is going to eventually go down. Double kill with the Orb. I'm sure LaFon is super happy that we're seeing Moira kills right now.
Is this FFA? That only happens in FFA, my friends. Young and Beautiful, too, losing their Zarya before they is able to get that grab, so instead of walking in with the grab, he's got to passively generate it. Could have been a little bit cleaner, but he's going to have it anyway for this next fight. Side effects with a Primal Rage and a Self-Destruct as well as a Nano. So is that going to be enough for that defense, Kenobi? Again, time will tell, but Young and Beautiful looking for the best opportunity to engage.
And a lot of this is on the shoulders of Metahan here. He has to eat his grab. He does not. That's worst case scenario, Boop.
Doesn't eat the grab, but I don't see a lot of kills going down. Not a lot of damage either. Is Bover dropping the Primal Rage as well? So a little bit of panic on the side of side effects. Asop's going to be going down before being able to use that Nano. Faye going to be pushing Young and the D.Va off and making sure that that self-destruct goes off. And so some good value from Cafe there, making sure that the D.Va is not going to have that ultimate for the remainder of this fight, especially since it can be a point clearing ultimate here on Assault. Now Cafe, what's that amazing tracking? We keep talking about this guy, but his Zarya is phenomenal. Young and Beautiful do take the series 3-0. Is it going to be a sweep, though, going to the fourth map?
It's so funny to it's so interesting actually to just watch Cafe play Zarya, because sometimes he throws out these gravitons and it seems like the team doesn't know that he's throwing them out because there's no follow-up, but then it doesn't matter because he's so high charge and he's just getting kills the the vanilla way, not just with the gravitons. So maybe it's just that if Side Effects doesn't know if Side Effects doesn't know what Cafe is doing and Cafe doesn't know what he's doing, then maybe no one knows what they're doing, and then you're getting the kills that way.
Well, all that matters is you're getting the kills in the end, right? Overwatch isn't about winning all the fights. It's about winning the right ones, knowing your win conditions and executing it surgically or as close to surgically as possible. But we're going to do a little bit of a break for right now. We'll be back very soon for our fourth map, which will be Escort. Welcome back, everybody. We are on map 4. Young and Beautiful have taken the victory against Side Effects already, establishing themselves as a favorite, continuing into our second week of Overwatch Contenders Trials Europe, Season 1 for 2019. LaFon, tell us exactly what Young and Beautiful did to get here 3-0 very quickly.
Cafe fragged out, everyone else helped him.
Hey, that's some good color there. I love the analysis there. That's why you, sir, are a coach. Side Effects now going to be coming in with this defense. Going to have that Widowmaker with Frost. What do you think of that, Kenobi?
I think Frost here is going to try and put some pressure onto the backline and onto the supports. There's not a static shield here for Young and Beautiful, so he isn't going to have to deal with the Reinhardt. He can maybe get some frags and picks into the backline, maybe get one onto Hootie, maybe get one to Young Savage as well.
Well, Young Savage is definitely always on the chopping
See, there
block.
you go.
Hey, there it is. Caster Curse in a good way there, my friend. At least for Side Effects, getting that headshot onto Young Savage is going to open up a ton of possibilities for Side Effects here to maintain their presence on this objective. Holding it close on Rialto is a choice that some teams do take. Some of them even hold us close to spawn, you know, it's just so you can take as much time off the clock, because by the time you do respawn, you're gonna be back and you're gonna be able to contest before they're able to grab the point. But as of right now, Kenobi, it looks like Side Effects doing a really good job getting time off of the clocks. The particle barrier going to be escorting Krandov into the back line, but not going to be really finding anybody well back there. Going to be jumping even further back, and he's going to be going down because of it. The trade all's well happening. No instance on the field. Looks like this is a no monkey zone, my friend. Side Effects is going to have that info, though. They have the wall hacks, the infrared sight, so they know exactly where Young and Beautiful is at all times, which is going to make this rocket barrage a little bit easier to use as they're very close to getting this point. But the rocket barrage will be getting to use. Foxes will be dying in the process, though. But the way that this is working so far, Frost is popping off. The last one wasn't quite a headshot, but two previously tell me Widow isn't dead. Frost, you're popping off. Keep it up, dude.
And I think the crossfire and the pressure created by Spoxes and Frost is really what I wanted to see in these last matchups. I mean, Frost, all the target prioritization right now from Young and Beautiful is on the Spoxes, and Frost is just able to sit in the backline by himself, get pocketed, get some headshots for free by himself in that backline, while Spox is doing a really good job of, with his direct rockets, hitting the people he needs. He even had that really nice D-mech onto Danny, and then used the barrage. Great presence of mind there, and now Side Effects, they have some ultimates to work with coming into this next fight, whereas Young and Beautiful, not as close towards theirs. They have this coalescence to try and deal with the Pharah in the air.
But they were able to get that primal rage, and he's going to have to use it because he was anti. He was going to go down as the coalescence was going to be able to heal them. The Graviton Surge is going to be coming out from Young and Beautiful, and it will be finding a little bit of value. The res was able to go through on Frost, so they have to worry about that long distance damage before they do try to take this first point, and that's exactly what happens. Frost is going to get the kill onto Flippy, so no point A just yet for Young and Beautiful, but they're getting so close to taking it. They just need a couple more kills. That Rocket Barrage was super fast to charge, but super low on value, and Young and Beautiful are going to be grabbing this first point.
Yeah, and this is probably where I would like to see Side Effects make some switches towards more goats. There you go. They're going to switch to more goats composition themselves. Young and Beautiful are going to stick towards this dive goats or monkey goats rather composition. I like that they're doing this. Actually, Side Effects bringing out the Hammond. This is an interesting decision instead of the Diva. We don't see this combination of tanks too often, but maybe Metahan is going to try and get into the backline, maybe blow up Young Savage or blow up Hootie in that backline.
Well, let's see if it's going to be effective. Wrecking Ball, especially in this current patch, doesn't suffer from like the armor changes, the shield changes as much as some of the other tanks have done. So we've been seeing Wrecking Ball, you know, find some value in some of these comps. Plus, Pile Drive's a really great way to line up a lot of those sniper shots. Is Krandov going to be the first to fall? No, Reinhardt for Young and Beautiful. The Graviton Surge will be invested from Fade, so we're going to see a bigger bang combo. And we're going to see a boot create 3 kills for that Bigger Bang combo. And if you don't remember, Bigger Bang is from Big Bang, which is Pulse Bomb Grav, but self-destruct's a little bigger, hence the name.
And that's all on Young Savage there. That boop is huge. We don't see these too often anymore, but when you hit those nice, clean boops, I know you like those boops. You're hitting that boop. It's an easy 3K right there. And now they're going to walk into this next point with a good amount of, with this Transcendence. They're going to have the Shatter as well. So if they want, they can continue to snowball. But on the other side, for Side Effects, you're close towards that minefield, and you can use that to zone off the point.
Side Effects is going to be using that rally to try to engage upon Young and Beautiful, push him off the payload. It does work for a little bit, but the Amp It Up effects will be depleted, so they have to give that space right back to Young and Beautiful, who are going to have their own rally. Side Effects going to be losing the rally armor of their own here in just a second, and Cafe with another Graviton Surge will be locking 4 in there. Flippy going to get the first kill for Young and Beautiful, and look how low Side Effects is. Somehow they have not all died, as they're actually coming back into this fight thanks to that sound barrier. The Earthshatter going to knock Spoxes down. I don't, it was, maybe visually, but in terms of value, not quite. Spoxes is going to be falling, though. Young and Beautiful have the opportunity to try to take the second point now because of the opening that Shatter did make. So, Kenobi, tell me why that was big.
And I think that Shatter was the best case scenario because you got Brigitte, and the Brigitte had the rally as well. If the rally was able to come out with that Brigitte, you would have had a lot more sustain, and you might have had a chance to come back and win that fight for yourself. And now, Cafe is just pushing into the enemy spawn, trying to get that Graviton again. 88% definitely going to have it for this next fight. And Side Effects don't have any support ultimate. Sab is the only one who is close enough, but he is so low right now.
He has another grab, my friends. The pile drive going to be going into the back line, and the Graviton Surge was there just to make sure they weren't able to engage in whatever the pile drive was able to open up, as Young Savage getting first blood on this fight for Young and Beautiful. The rally is online for both sides, but doesn't seem to be finding any effectiveness for Side Effects. Young and Beautiful pushing all the way to spawn. That's a feels bad, man.
And I love how aggressive Cafe there was with that Graviton. He saw the 2 tanks were not with their team and knew that Sab was very close to Transcendence and didn't have it just 1% away and just uses it very aggressively. And now they have a lot of momentum coming into this next fight.
Earthshatter only getting 1, that would be Cafe, which is, good if you're able to get that kill, but they were unable to do that. But Side Effects now, Matei still haven't gotten those proximity mines, which could find a ton of value here on this last point of Rialto. Some good places to put those to make sure Young and Beautiful have a couple choices to come in, not all the choices.
Yeah, and one of the choices is Cafe's Graviton. Again, he has another one. It seems like it's just a cooldown ability for him. At this point, they do have the Transcendence still from Sab to try and counteract it, but there it is.
The Graviton Surge happens, and you saw exactly what Kenobi meant earlier. We do get another triple self-destruct kill. Danny opening it up for Young and Beautiful. Side Effects. There's nothing you can do with that kind of team play. Young and Beautiful finish the land of right angles. Rialto, you get 3 points.
Man, it's almost like Bigger Bang combo is a really strong combo if you're able to hit those boops and get that shield out of the way for that self-destruct to hit. And what more can I say about Cafe here on this Zarya? He has Graviton almost every time. He used it before Frost. I think he used it 2 or 3 times before Frost even got his out. And by that time, Frost was able to get his out. Huni already got towards his own Transcendence. They had the support ult advantages. What I talked about earlier, whenever Cafe has grab, he's using it proactively and not just waiting, standing on ceremony to get the money grab. He's just trying his best to get 1, 2 tanks, the most important people in the Ghost composition, section them off and force out cooldowns. Cafe playing absolutely stellar on the Zarya so far.
Stellar indeed. When you're able to lap the opposing Zarya, all you're doing is providing more value to your team. You just have more resources. And I know a lot of us are into that resource management type of experience, and Young and Beautiful have an abundance of those resources right now.
I like resource games. Do you like resource games?
I don't. I really don't actually.
You really don't?
I really don't like crafting. I don't know what it is about it, but I don't play games to work. You know what I mean? Right?
I get that.
But some people like Ham, she loves Civilization, and Rimworld loves resource management.
Yes, and it looks like Young and Beautiful loves playing goats and loves playing aggressively here. I like that they're taking this advantage. They're taking this aggressive stance here because you're going to milk a lot of percentage and a lot of time off the clock here. And it's going to force actually probably Side Effects to switch up their composition a little bit, go to more of a goats composition. That's a nice pile driver to start though from Metahan.
Oh, we actually mentioned it a little earlier how teams are holding right up at spawn here on Rialto because if they die, the consequences aren't really that dire. By the time the team comes back, they'll be able to set up a defense exactly where they would have. We're seeing this kind of same thing happening on the trains on Route 66 and up close on Dorado. So this is definitely different than what we've seen way back in the past when we saw Orisa stage up on the high ground and the payload just move. As of right now, though, just ultimates going on both sides. Look how quickly those were able to come within a minute for Young and Beautiful and Side Effects. As Fox is getting taken low during the stun that he was the victim of, and Young and Beautiful on this defense up close will be getting a 6v4 advantage. Huni is going to be the only victim for Young and Beautiful so far thanks to a really nice boot kill, but this up close defense, Kenobi, is working.
This still looks really dire also for side effects. It's already a minute they've taken off, and Young and Beautiful have gotten themselves towards a couple of ultimates. They have the grab from Cafe here, where Frost is going to have his as well. Side effects have so many ultimates, and they're going to have to use them to try and even push this towards halfway through point A. So a lot of great play there from Young and Beautiful, and Flippy getting a little bit over-aggressive, unfortunately.
Over-aggressiveness will be taken advantage of. But, honestly, the whole team was pretty aggressive there, as the Wrecking Ball going to be trying to join the rest of his team in this fight, as side effects are going to be walking into this next engagement with 6 ultimates.
This is going to be an ultimate bloodbath from both these teams. They have both support ults available for them, and really look out for which support ultimates are used first and last. Really, when you use your support ultimates last, that's the best case scenario because of how healing works in Overwatch, and you really don't want to have your support ultimates come out first because then you're just going to be behind in terms of any types of healing.
Well, you also don't want to layer them, right? Because then you're using the 2 ultimates for the same thing, and again, the value just isn't as high. Self-destruct, not going to get the triple kill as we've seen before from it. Danny's the Graviton Surge going to be coming out from it. Side Effect Transcendence is going to be on Young and Beautiful side this time. And so Side Effect's going to be using every single ultimate at the beginning of that fight and actually come out behind by the time they're done using them. So Earthshatter going to be knocking Frost on the ground. He is not long for this world after that particle barrier does run out. The hit is going to be there. He did live. So particle barrier is enough just for a little while longer, but it's just delaying the inevitable for Side Effects at this point.
Yeah, he lived for just a little bit longer there, and they're going to play really aggressive here, Young and Beautiful. Go to the enemy spawn, back to where it all began, and with a minute and 30 seconds left, Side Effects don't have that much time. Maybe 1 or 2 fights left, and they've exhausted a lot of their resources. No ultimates, even close, tank ultimates rather, than even close for Side Effects. You don't have the grab, you don't have the shatter. The only thing you're getting close towards is Sab's Transcendence, which you might have to use just aggressively, but it's not going to be able to happen because Cafe does have this Graviton, and he just throws it out.
Just gonna throw it out indeed, as a lot of damage being done to Side Effects within it. There's a grab, good stuff coming from Young and Beautiful, only suffering 1 casualty throughout that fight. Good grab. Faye already at 20%. I know that that's not that much, but he's already used a ton of grabs, and look how fast he's already charging the other one, because look at where Frost is.
And I love how the Cafe is using these Gravitons. There he uses it really early so that they blow up someone in the front line before the Transcendence comes out. Side Effects doesn't know when the grabs are coming because Cafe is just throwing them out whenever he wants. He's not being read easily. So I love that he's doing this aggressively, and already 50% towards another one. He can definitely get it in this next fight.
Rally going to be escorting Side Effects onto the objective in what could be the very last fight for them today. Young and Beautiful do have ults of their own. They have 5. Rally has been executed for Young and Beautiful. Now we're seeing proximity mines, I think, for the first time so far. Sound barrier means that they can probably just walk through a couple of them and get them off of the field. The Earthshatter going to be hitting the Reinhardt shield for Side Effects, but they do have 1 less member as Matei has gone down. No Wrecking Ball for them. Earthshatter and Graviton Surge is going to be there. Danny's going to be the only one that gets knocked down. The Graviton Surge from Frost was eaten. And so while Cafe has been finding so much value, Frost didn't find any, and no one's going to be able to get onto the payload, it looks like, other than these supports. This Lucio and Wrecking Ball need to stall for their lives right now, and it doesn't look like we're going to see that, as this desperation Lucio attempt will end. Side Effects already leaving the game. Doesn't feel good. Young and Beautiful do sweep them 4-0, establishing themselves as favorites going forward into the second week.
And honestly, Boop, it's a tale of 2 Zaryas again. We talked about at the start of how Cafe plays this Zarya and what the enemy team of Side Effects is going to have to do, and they just weren't using their Gravitons or their Zarya as proactively as Cafe was. We saw Cafe every time was trying to just throw out Gravitons when Side Effects wasn't expecting it, and I really like how he plays. It's interesting to see a Zarya player play like this. Usually they're more reserved in their Gravitons, throwing them out when it's pin-perfect accuracy, but their Cafe is like, oh, they're right here. Maybe I can just throw this grab out, get a couple of kills before the Transcendence is even able to pop. So really good play from Cafe, and Young and Beautiful looking very good and looking like a team that could probably get back into Contenders.
Yeah, they're already at 3-0. Again, I do think they've established themselves as a favorite. I think our next game will be deciding the other one, as it's going to be Shoes Money Crew EU against Out of My Game, who are both 2-0, but we still have something to break down here. Lafon, is this a sense of Cafe making some plays, or the rest of the team just knowing how good he is on that Zarya and supporting him justly?
I think this is one of 2 things. One, it's that Young and Beautiful, we talked Cafe up so much during the match, and for very good reason. The man's insane on Zarya, right? And he plays a bunch of other heroes too. We saw his Pharah, we saw, we saw him change over if he needed to. But I think what it comes down to is also the fact that Young and Beautiful across the board are so good together. You know, when Cafe doesn't have 100 energy, he's only at a measly 60. Well, Crandop's hitting Fire Strikes, and then he's got the Earth Shatter up as well. Supports are in line with them. So I think for Young and Beautiful, yes, their game plan clearly does revolve around Cafe's Zarya, and obviously this match is a tale as to why. But you know, that's not to say the rest of the team are slouches either. Which for them, looking to get into Contenders is absolutely necessary. You can't have the rest of the team be sort of there along for the ride. And yes, you absolutely cannot. I don't think it'd be fair to say that Cafe's performance has not been stellar, but it's insane as to how much value he's given by his team. You know, the rally pack. Whenever he calls for Soundberry, it looks like, you know, they're there with support ultimates as well. So it is Young and Beautiful playing a team game around this style of play, and it's working out fantastically for them.
Well, LaFon, I'm not done talking about him just yet, because let's talk hypothetically just for a second here. So what we saw specifically on Rialto was Cafe just out-dueled Frost and just got those ults way faster, right?
He lapped him twice in one fight on Grab.
In a situation where, hey, you know, this is not the case, but again, hypothetically, where the other 5 members of your team are all of equal skill, how much more value does having a better Zarya give to your team in general?
In Goats comp, massive. Yeah. Because the difference is this. Okay, so Cafe uses Graviton Surge, you use the support ultimate. By the time he has the next Graviton Surge up, the support ultimate is only about 60%. There's just a massive difference in value there, and you're winning about 40% more fights as a result. So you can actually take a large portion of why Young and Beautiful have won off that sheer difference alone. So you can clearly chalk up a lot of success to that Zarya play.
What about you, Kenobi?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. And actually, I would have liked to have seen Frost just maybe solo grab Cafe, right? Because that's the carry potential. If you are able to get that guy out of, out of the fight, while the rest of Young and Beautiful does have a lot of good players around them, and maybe they're able to win through that, Cafe is your carry. He's your hyper carry. Get him out of the fight and target him